My style is ridiculous.
Skibbity dum dum dum, yes yes. Skibbity dum dum dim dim. Skibbity.
Baby, you can't read the doll.
It's Disney! Hello you guys, this is Boy Meets Doll. Today's video is all about taking dolls out in public as an adult. Have you done it before? Are you an adult? Hopefully you're an adult. If you're watching my channel, this channel is for adults. And today I want to talk about something that's a little taboo, taking your doll out in public. So stick with me, I'll tell you all about my experience. Okay, so I was thinking about it, and the first time I actually took a doll out in public was a few weeks ago with my best friend. We went to downtown Disney, and I took this lovely girl, Willa, on on the trip with us. My best friend was totally cool about it. But on this trip, I put her almost like fully in my bag, so I didn't really show her that much. But here we are sitting at the California Hotel. If you know, you know, sitting at the fireplace. This is like one of my favorite places on earth. I always joke with my friends if I come back as a ghost, even though I don't believe in them, but if I come back as a ghost, I would haunt this area and just be hanging out at the California Hotel. It truly is like my safe place on earth. It's so cozy. We love to sit in the rocking chairs, and I had an impromptu photo shoot here. So it was really fun. My friend helped me take a few photos. I'll go ahead and insert some here. And honestly, I had a lot of fun, like just taking these fireside photos. I didn't really bring Willa out that much. I don't think I brought her out again. We just kind of hung out at downtown Disney and went to Storytellers Cafe, which is one of my favorite restaurants. Again, if you know, you know. And honestly, no one was really looking at me, or if they were, I didn't notice or care. But I have to admit, I had like a little pang of anxiety when I took her out of my bag, and you know, I was kind of wondering, like, would I be judged? Would someone say anything? I did want to get into this question though, is why is it scary for adults to bring dolls out in public or admit they like dolls? That's a complicated question. I really don't know exactly what makes it scary. I think part of it is the fear of being judged. For some reason, dolls are seen as childish. People are seen to have some, mental disorder if they like dolls. Um, it kind of seems like there's only a certain age ranges where people allow children to like dolls. But what's funny though is I do feel like boys or men are allowed to like action figures, into their adults, and they're not judged for it. But for some reason, men and women, I think, are judged, or it's sort of looked down upon to keep having dolls, that you're childish, you must be immature. But I don't see it that way at all. I think dolls really scratched an itch. Like, for example, my normal day-to-day job is not creative whatsoever. It's very like procedural, it's very bound by restrictions, and I'm a creative person. My whole life I've been a creative type, but I don't know how to express it. Well, dolls for me have been one of the most amazing ways to express my creativity, to put them in different outfits, different hairstyles. It's extremely fun, and there's nothing wrong with it. So this was a real exercise for me to like kind of, put the proof in the pudding, like to live how I'm what I say I believe. And it's just a small thing, like big whoop, bring a doll out in public. But truly though, this was kind of my first kind of, little dipping my toe in the water, and my best friend was so kind about it, and nothing happened. No one judged me. Again, being close to Disneyland, in the California Hotel, maybe that's partially why, but I don't know. There wasn't really a big deal.
It's a small world after all.
Okay, so we had an impromptu visit to Disneyland, and it was going to be a multi-day trip, and I thought, which doll should I bring with me? And the perfect doll was bringing Tenny with me to Disneyland. I thought this outfit was very Disney. I thought she would be beautiful. And I was even going to challenge myself, hey, why don't I actually bring Tenny out in public on one of the days? I didn't think I'd bring her around every day, just because she does take up space in the backpack and stuff. But I think it was our third day. We were planning to relax a little bit more, and I thought, what better way to try this kind of, test out and see if I can be brave enough to bring a doll out in public as an adult man. You know, could I do it? So let's see the results. So Tenny was our little road dog. She made it perfectly. Here she is in her little Disney outfit. She has Mickey earrings and she has one of Blair's little bags here. You know, she was packed for the trip as well. So here she is in the hotel room. She made it just fine. And, you know, she waited at the hotel the first couple days while we were in the park. And, you know, I actually held her as I brought her into the hotel. I just held her, you know, with no bag or anything. And no one looked at me. No one cared at all. Um, you know, no one even gave a side glance. Literally nothing. It was perfectly fine. It was as if it was normal that a big adult man was carrying a blonde haired, curly haired doll. So that was kind of the first step, is just kind of carrying her in the hotel, you know, out in the open, and nothing happened whatsoever. Okay, so by day 3, Tenny was growing antsy. She's like, I'm bored. You know, normally I'm in Nashville. I can perform my songs. Why are you guys leaving me in the hotel? Y'all are rude. So I decided to bring her. And yeah, so what I did is I put her in kind of the front pocket of my backpack, and her face was fully visible out in the open. So our first stop of the day, we went to Starbucks on Main Street. Tenny, her hair's getting a little, you know, rustled here. You know, she's out in the open. I definitely tried to do her hair in the car on the ride over, but, you know, hey, it got a little messed up, but here she is just watching out on Main Street. The only like confirmed time someone noticed her, there was a really sweet lady pushing an older man in a wheelchair, and they stopped right by the window, and the lady started pointing at Tenny and smiling and laughing, and it kind of looked like she was showing the gentleman Tenny, and then he looked over at her too, and you know, I waved back at them. I just acted excited, and honestly, it was kind of a sweet moment, and there was nothing weird about it whatsoever. It was almost like, you know, just completely normal. And you know what? I take that back. There was another confirmed time someone, you know, talked to me about Tenny, so I'll get to that as well. But this was a super fun spot, and Tenny could look right out. And besides that interaction, not a single person said anything. Okay, here's Tenny going on the Star Tours ride in Disneyland. It is Tenny's first flight. My best friend was like, I can't believe you just threw her into flying, you know, into outer space. Not even a small test flight, nothing. But yeah, it took her right into the ride. At one point, I did kind of think someone was talking about her, or maybe kind of looking at her in my bag, but I don't think it was anything malicious. I think it was just kind of interest, you know, just kind of taking a look. I do think at one point someone behind us was either talking about her or maybe just looking at her. But other than that, no big deal. Tenny got through the flight perfectly. She could sit in my bag and just kind of watch as we went on this ride. Have y'all been on Star Tours before? What do you think of this ride? They changed it a lot since I was a kid, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. Okay, here we are in Tomorrowland, taking a little rest. We are near that pizza place, the really famous pizza place with the little aliens. I forget what it's called. But yeah, no big deal. Tons of people walked by. No one said anything. Tenny was just peeking her little head out. She kind of came out a little bit more here, just kind of looking around, and it was truly no big deal. Okay, here we are with Tenny, and we're going to be going on the People Mover here. It's near the subway ride. I forget what it's called. I think it's Finding Nemo. And yeah, again, no big deal. No one said a thing, and people were just minding their own business. By the way, how stinking cute is Tenny here? I just think, I swear sometimes they look like they're smiling. And that sounds crazy, and probably another reason people think adults who like dolls are crazy. But I swear, just depending on the lighting and kind of how the doll's faced and stuff, sometimes they look like they're smiling. She's so cute. Okay, here's Tenny not getting spooked whatsoever on the Haunted Mansion ride. She had a great old time and was even looking at the Madame Leota. Okay, it was getting towards the end of the day, and Tenny was getting very tired and tuckered out. Here we are near the castle. There's a Snow White display with like a stream and a waterfall. Very pretty area. Tenny was definitely interested, I wanted to get even more photos, but there was a lot of people because it was near sundown, and I believe they do some kind of show at this time of the day. So definitely a lot of people, and I chickened out just a little bit, like taking her out a little bit more. But here are some really pretty photos. Okay, it was starting to get to the end of the night. I forgot to mention at one part of the day, um, we got on the train, and one of the ladies who I was sitting next to was like, "Oh, there's a baby girl right there," to her husband, and it was just really cute. And she just said it. She just kind of exclaimed it. She just said it kind of without thinking, and so I could tell that she probably was an AG girl doll lover, just like myself. So that was really cool. And again, just something positive. It wasn't like we were being so weird or anything. Here's Tenny getting on the teacups. She got a little dizzy. She was definitely wanting to go home after this. So, yes, this was one of the last things we did. Okay, my final thoughts are that this really wasn't that scary, hard, or difficult like I thought it was beforehand. Now, I will say that with the caveat that I think at Disneyland there is an element of wonder and excitement, and honestly, kind of, I wouldn't say unusual people, but people who, really like bold things in life. And so I think because there's so many people dressed up. I mean, there's people wearing Mickey ears, people with little dolls, little stuffies attached to them, and all kinds of things. I think bringing an American Girl doll is truly not that weird. If anything, it might be a little normal there. So I think this wasn't a real test in terms of can I actually do it in public, like at the grocery store or the craft store or shopping or something like that. I think that would be even more of a test. But I am proud of myself for doing this. I think this really challenged me. It made me kind of reflect and think about, why do people think that adults who like dolls are strange? Why is there that stigma attached to them? I don't know. It's really, really hard to say. Like I could produce all these theories, but it doesn't mean that it's correct or accurate. Part of me thinks that dolls are considered womanly or girly, especially girly or, naive. And I think, as we become adults, some of that wonder or excitement is kind of lost, sadly. And so people think that if you express interest towards those things, that you're childish, you're immature, or you're just kind of silly or frivolous. But I mean, there's beauty in those things. And, if someone likes animals or if someone likes, drawing or, it became non taboo for adults to color during the pandemic. Adults were buying coloring books, and, that's considered a childish activity, but for some reason that became more mainstream. For whatever reason, doll collecting, I don't think has really lost that stigma. We kind of think of like older grandmothers or small children liking dolls, and anyone else, in between, it's unusual. Even for women, I think women are judged as well. Um, and I don't know why. I can't really pinpoint why, but this was a really good exercise for me to push myself, to be uncomfortable. I was lucky enough in both my experiences. My best friend and my spouse were so cool about it. They don't judge me whatsoever about liking dolls. My spouse is really coming around. I have so many dolls everywhere now. I will do a video on my doll setup and kind of my doll closet and stuff, so you can see at some point. But yeah, I mean, just having that support from two people I love and adore, it really helps, and it really makes me realize it's not so weird. And am I a big, tall, giant man, older man who loves dolls? Yes, I am. And there's nothing creepy about it. To me, it's just, again, the joy of creativity, the joy of expression, the joy of dressing something up and beautifying your life, that I just think makes it so fun and makes it such an experience. So my challenge to you, if you are watching this and you're still with me, take your doll out. Do it. Do something small. Even just have it in the car with you on a trip, or even just driving through Starbucks. Just put her or him in the driver's seat, in the passenger seat, and see what it's like. I almost guarantee, even if someone says anything, at least in my experience, no one was mean. Maybe you'll get a crazy look here or there. I'm not sure, especially just like if I took her to Walmart or something. We'll see, but challenge yourself. What did you think of this video? Thank you so much. This is Boy Meets Doll.